Today we're going to be trying to get a little bit more comfortable skating transition. I'm no expert at it. I'll start off by doing things I am pretty comfortable with, and then if there's time, move on to things that I'm less comfortable with. So when practicing transition, the thing that I like to do is just to start at the bottom, start skating up, and then skating back down, getting more comfortable, getting a little bit higher each time until my wheels are pretty much at the coping. Then once I'm comfortable there, on the small transition, we might try some other things like doing a little 180 turn down, and then maybe even moving on to bigger quarter pipes. We'll see how it goes. So, as you can see, just practicing pumping, getting comfortable going up. Now I'm gonna try just coming down with a little bit of speed and just getting out, just going over it, landing on the top, just to feel comfortable doing that. The idea is, generally it's pretty easy for me to go and just jump out, sort of like how I did. What I want to do is try to ride as close to the coping as possible and not jump too early, which is the problem I usually have. That's good. Rolled right up to it. Now let's move to a little bit of a bigger one. So definitely feel the difference, right? Felt really comfortable there. Over there, it actually got a little scary because it started to get closer to vert. The closer to vert it gets, the scarier it gets. So just gonna do the same thing, just keep practicing over and over again until I feel comfortable. That's an example of jumping too early, not riding all the way up to the top. it's intimidating for me, so that's why I gotta keep trying it. All right, got out of it, still stepped out of it.
Way too early.
So, okay. So, I'm not leaning back enough. I didn't even mean to jump. What's happening is I'm anticipating changing directions to land on my feet, so I'm not leaning back enough, and just the change of direction is just throwing me up. That wasn't even intentional. Part of me is worried about coming back in, going over coping and coming back in, which I don't feel like I'm ready for yet.
You should do it like the Don't Bothers and get a bandana.
Do it blindfolded? I don't know. Let me give it one more try.
Okay.
I was more in control. I definitely was more in control. Still jumped early, but that didn't look so bad, right?
That one looks smoother, but it was very early.
Okay. All right, so let's try something a little bit different. There's a lot of people, but I'd like to try to carve around the ball a little bit. See how that works. Carve around a bit. So the trick there is keep your knees bent. Just sort of let the changes in the transition guide you, and don't try to fight it. Just kind of keep your knees bent and loose and low, and just ride it through. I actually got way higher than I wanted to. It scared me a bit. I feel like I'm almost capable of going a little bit over coping, but probably not today. So one thing we didn't really talk about is dropping in. I just sort of did it. So we can talk about that just a little bit. Once you get really comfortable going up and coming backwards and then going up and turning around, you'll realize that the drop in is no different than going up and turning around. It's just you're starting from the top. It a lot of times is intimidating to look at the transition from the top, but once you've felt it and you've gone out of it and you've rode up and rode down it, you know what to expect. It all of a sudden gets less and less steep the more you do it. So we'll drop in again. I'll show you how I do it. So this is a very easy transition. I can see it's not vert at all or anywhere near it. I can see every bit of the transition from standing here. If it was vert, I would not be able to even see it until it gets way down towards the bottom. So I'm right-footed, so I put my right foot on the coping between my wheels on my H block, and then you just sort of lean down and again bend your knees and let gravity do the work, and the transition straighten you out. You don't really have to think about it. It'll straighten you out. It's like you feel like you're gonna just smash your face, but then you just don't. So. And before I forget, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this, to watch a beginning rollerblader learn new things and progress slowly but surely. Lots of channels out there where there's experts showing you how to do things. Sometimes it's good to watch someone who's just learning themselves so that you can kind of see that process as it goes. So one of the benefits of recording myself skating is that I can go back and watch the video and analyze what I was doing and try to improve. So here is me coming out of the bowl on the taller quarter pipe. So this was my best attempt, but nevertheless, I still didn't ride all the way up. I intended to, but I didn't. So what happened here? Well, as you can see, I was doing fine up until this moment right here. My angle right now is pretty good compared to the angle of the transition. But as the transition gets more steep, I should be leaning back more, but I'm not. I'm staying with that same angle, and I'm not jumping, I'm just being thrown upwards. So as you can see, I'm all of a sudden going onto my toes, my front wheels there. That's not on purpose. It's simply that the transition is going steep, but I'm not. So it's just pushing me into the transition rather than riding up. So rather than just trip, I lift up my leg and sort of just lift up my legs and float up to the top there. If I didn't, then I would just trip and fall, right? So of course I did. What I need to do is I need to lean back and ride the transition all the way up. It's not about jumping too early. It's about not leaning back far enough and just trying to stay in a comfortable place where my head is over my belly button, sort of. So as you can see, I'm going to contrast this to this video here, which is me going up an even taller transition, but I'm intending to come back in. So I'm going to do a little 180 sort of, and I'm going all the way up to the coping there. And I didn't even try to go all the way up to the coping. It's simply that I never intended to go out, and I knew I was coming back in, so I was leaning in the direction I was going, which is down. So because I was leaning down, I rode that transition all the way up to the coping without even giving it much thought, simply because I was leaning towards the ground, ready to drop back in rather than trying to lean out. So in conclusion there, it's not so much that I was jumping too early, it's that I was not leaning back far enough, and that's just a comfort thing. I think I approached the taller quarter pipe a little too quickly. With the smaller quarter pipe, I was riding it slowly, going up only just a little bit before, and eventually I was riding all the way and getting my wheels up on the coping before I tried coming out. And I tried to speed up the process a bit here and try coming out of it right away before I really felt comfortable with the level of vert that this is. And this is not even vert, but it's closer to vert than the other quarter pipe. So it's just going to take a little bit more practice, but it's interesting to kind of go back and see exactly where it was, that it was actually pretty much the same angle. If I was on the smaller quarter pipe, I would be at the top of that quarter pipe already by now. Right about there, I'd be at the top of the quarter pipe. But that's where I was comfortable. I'm not comfortable with farther than that. So that's why once I got to that level, I sort of messed up there.